Hi guys! It's March, and it's Women's History Month. I thought I would dedicate this episode to all the strong, independent women out there. I personally have been surrounded by this strong, independent women the whole entirety of my life. One of which is my special guest. A wife, a mother of 2 bright kids, and has a very successful career in the corporate world. How was she able to do it? What were the struggles? Grab your coffee, people, and join me as my guest share her stories.
This is a Cup of Coffee podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Bianca De Jesus. Hello!
Oh, hi Sam. Thank you so much for having me over. I'm doing this for the first time, so I'm nervous but at the same time thrilled because I know you're the one, hosting it. So I know it's going to be a wonderful conversation.
Thank you so much, Madam, for saying yes to me.
Of course.
Kasi talaga kasing nakita ko yung how you were able to balance it. I've met a lot of successful women in the industry, and not a lot of them were able to balance it successfully. And you are an example of that person na I can do good at work and I can do good as well in my parenting skills and my family life. Let me start asking you a question, and it will come to you as a shock. Remember mo ba kung paano mo ako nakilala before? Or what's your first impression of me?
My first impression of you, courageous. And no, really, courageous. And that remains to be the case up until now. With you sharing with me that you are centered and focused on this passion of yours. And from when we met together in our previous company, you've always been the driven one. And if there's something that my father has always taught me and my sister, it's surround yourself with the people who you know and who you feel will bring you closer to your dreams, who will elevate you. So I naturally gravitate to individuals who I know are, inspiring. It's not based on roles Hindi ganun siya sa amin. It's somebody na I know I could share something at the same time I could learn from that person. And isa ka dun sa mga taong yun. Nakita ko yung drive. And I'm not saying that, I only interact and get close with people na I would benefit something from. Hindi. It's more of who do I want to surround myself with? Anong klaseng mga tao? Yung alam kong meron akong ma-share at meron din ako matututunan regardless of role, regardless of background. Kasi ganun
Kasi before, when I first met you, to be honest, so kasi I came from a company na female din yung mga bosses. Kaya lang, I don't wanna be shady or anything. It's just that, so pag halimbawa may kliyenteng dumarating, they literally, sorry to say, pour out themselves.
I know what you... It happens.
Yeah. And I'm not shading them or anything. It's just that I know that they have to do it because of work. But when I met you, kasi nag-stay ako doon ng 3 years So, when I met you, hindi mo pala kailangan ganon. Pwede naman palang kagalang-galang na kukuha mo pa rin yung respeto ng iba ng mga kliyente mo without being, that kind of a person. So sabi ko, pwede pala to. Tapos in the years that we were working together, I never saw you crack under pressure. Like, I know how pressured you were kasi you were launching an account So it's super pressured talaga. But you were able to always carry a smile while you are, walking the floor, checking on your managers and your supervisors and your agents. And one of the most surprising thing that you've done, na kahit na sino ngayon, that I tried to emulate as well. Ikaw lang yung, kasi nung panahon, senior operations manager ka, di ba?
True, yes.
You were able to take a soup call from a supervisor. So
I remember
Sabi ko, ay, kaya naman palang gawin. Bakit, alam mo yun, unfortunately, coming from you, na parang you're already on top of the food chain, tapos, pwede palang bumaba, kaya naman pala. Kasi di ba laging question yun ng mga agents before,
Yes.
dali-dali nyo maging manager, alam nyo ba kung paano mag-handle ng calls? And that's true. Maraming mga supervisors, maraming mga managers na medyo hindi na kaya yon. But coming from someone na nasa taas, stepping down 2 flights para lang to say, okay, I can do it as well. Just watch. It meant a lot to an agent. It meant a lot to me. And I tried to emulate that in the career that I've had in the industry. My question to you is that you're handling hundreds of 500, even at first second, 1,000
Yes,
people. How were you able to keep that smile and to keep that, okay, I can do this?
It would sound a cliche, but I genuinely love what I'm doing because I don't think any person would be able to keep doing what he or she's doing if there's no love or interest at all. It just so happened that I genuinely like what I'm doing. I don't think I would be in the industry for this long, 19 years na akong puyat. Well, I'm able to get some sleep kasi I've gotten to that point na I'm really particular about how I balance things, all the more that I'm turning 40 this year, so I'm a lot more cognizant of myself. Pero looking back, 10 years ago, as far back as pinag-uusapan natin, 9 years ago, 8, I had a dream, I had a goal. That's what motivates me. I know I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew that what I was doing, being in the BPO industry, being a manager, being able to lead this kind of team who I saw was equally driven, who knew what the direction of the account needed to be. Gusto ko yung ginagawa ko eh. Siguro it helped a lot then, Sam, that I had that training. I've been working since I was 12.
What?
12 years old. Yun yung training sa amin ng parents ko, especially my father. My father was a lawyer, former politician siya, pero they came from a very extremely poor family. Tapos he was able to really move up and achieve his goals, his dreams. So ako yung typical na bata, Sam, na 12 years old, nagtatrabaho na ako sa kanya sa law firm, sa opisina. I remember one of my vivid memories would be, kasi we had the real estate company then. So may law firm, may iba-ibang businesses. Sunday, pupunta ako sa Santo Domingo Church. Yung mga mini-mimeograph na flyer, mga binibenta camellia, homes. Tataya ako sa labas ng simbahan, 12 years old, namimigay ako noon. At I had to profile people kasi mukha bang bibili to ng bahay? Ganon ka.
That makes sense.
At that age, ganon ang training. Nasa labas ako ng farmer's market, linggo, because that's the busiest. Andun yung mga donya na mamalengke. Ganon, that's the sort of training that I had as early as 12. I was the typical child na pag summer, nagtatrabaho. Nagtatrabaho ko, so I had money. Pagpasukan, may pera ako. Hindi mo ako. So pag gimmick na, meron akong sarili kong pera. I had that kind of training so early on, but I enjoyed it. I wasn't forced into doing it. Pero bata pa lang ako, ganun na. And that was my upbringing. So I loved, dealing with different people. I like talking. My father worked for the urban poor as well. He served our 3 prior presidents, so presidential commission for the urban poor. Dadalhin niya kami sa mga, nakapunta na ako ng ilang beses sa Smoky Mountain. Nakikipaglaro ako doon sa mga batang talagang gusgusin. Ganun ang exposure namin. Pero that's why I saw that there's so much that you can do. Pero kumbaga na-lead lang talaga ako sa corporate world because at one point I really wanted to become a lawyer, but my father was a perfectionist. My sister and I remember takot na takot kami on how we were going to tell him na we couldn't be as great as you. Ang tagal nun, we had talaga nagbe-brainstorm kami ng kapatid ko for like a few years. Believe it or not, on how we would tell him that we couldn't be lawyers as great as he was. He was in college for 30 years studying. Ganun, he was too smart, book smart. My mom is the street smart type of woman naman. Siguro naging combination yung ganon, yung diskarte at the same time, yun, kung ano yung natutunan namin from my father. I like to, what I'm doing. Kahit I envision myself siguro in the next 10, 20 years, I'm still going to be working, pero something that's still for people. People pa rin, how I can give back, ganon. Pero mahirap. I will have to tell you, totoo rin na may sinabi mo, I had a very, it was hard, balancing everything. Alam mo yung klase ng puyat that, we would go through then, hindi siya biro. Pero, at the same time, I still watched, my boundaries in terms of ano yung para sa pamilya ko, or sa pamilya ko, sa anak ko, because I just had Santina then, and ano yung time ko para sa work.
Yeah. Kasi, I love it that you were able to talk about your family and your upbringing, because it kind of plays a role on how we grow up as a person, as a mother, as a father. Kasi kung ano yung nakita mo sa kanila, i-apply mo talaga yun regardless. Like I know someone or another family na parang the mom was too giving. So parang ang anak niya, ang narehistro sa utak niya is, okay, I deserve everything. So parang growing up, now he's a father, he doesn't know what to do. Because parang sanay siyang nakangangalang sa nanay niya. If that makes sense. You were taught na, yeah, you can do that for fun. You can go for, flyering and stuff like that. But it was instilled to you na yung pinagpaguran mo, sa'yo yan.
Oo, at hindi yun, hindi naman kami sabihin mong mayaman, Sam. Nakapag-aral kami sa magandang schools ng sister ko. Pero whatever it is that we wanted, totoo yun, pag pinaghirapan mo, I had to work, for example, kung gusto ko ng ganitong pair of pants, pair of jeans, kailangan kong magtrabaho ang sweldo ko na naalala ko, 16 na ako noon, 200 a day siya. Pero I was, ang ginagawa ko na, pupunta ako sa DTI office, 16, magbubusa ako na mag-G, pupunta ako from Cubao, pupunta ako ng DTI, mag-aayos ako ng papers, pupunta ako sa Securities Exchange Commission, mga ganun ginagawa ko, pupunta ako
16 years old.
Yes, and at some point I had to dress up like
an adult.
An adult, pero hindi alam ng mga tao. Yung nag-introduce dun sa speaker sa Asian Institute of Management, ako hindi alam, 15, 16 lang ako. But I had to dress up a certain way kasi nga gusto ko yung ganong nakakatulong ako sa father ko. I'm able to save something for myself. Madami ako natututunan Siguro yung ganon ding passion na lagi kaming natututunan. I think yun ang wag mawawala sa atin. At the same, I was learning, at the same time I was earning, tapos nakatulong ako sa parents ko.
Actually, that's one of the reasons why I did this podcast as well, because I kind of felt na, okay, so I'm not really working, and I'm not really using my brain, But now, I've been talking to a lot of people sharing their experiences na kahit na at least 10 to 15% ng utak ko, may natututunan pa rin ako.
True.
Kasi kaya sabi ko sa sarili ko, when I started this podcast, sabi ko, this is just gonna be a chill out lounge where I can interview people, I can talk to people, but at the same time, I'm gonna list down mga information na natututunan.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yung job mo, of course, you're in the BPO industry. Paano yun? Kasi tanda ko na when I met you, you were pregnant with Santina.
Oh, that was Juliana.
Juliana pala. Oh, yeah. So paano nangyari na so when you gave birth, I guess it worked out because work mo gabi, umaga. So paano mo na balance yun? Syempre tulog ka. Dapat natutulog ka na nun.
It's I'm sure it's the same dilemma that all other working moms in our industry had to go through and they're still going through. Ngayon lang siguro kumbaga may benefit, may privilege of being able to work from home, pero hindi rin ganun kadali yun. That's a different story to tell for another time maybe. when we were in the same company, that was back in 2012, Santino was 5, and then the year after, parang latter part of 2013, I got pregnant na with Juliana. That in fact became a reason for me to leave the company din, kasi critical yung pregnancy ko. I did if not for that, I wouldn't leave the organization. Pero naging critical siya, and then I moved to another company kasi I rested for a few weeks. This company that I moved to was willing to take me in as a pregnant employee, even if alam ko na magma-maternity leave ako, hindi pa man ako probationary employee. Pero I think they believed in what I was capable of doing, so sige, they accepted me. Pero in terms of balancing it, mahirap. Kasi I started joining the industry 2003. I had Santino 2007. So, taking care of an infant, of a newborn. Ngayon kasi, what I hear from moms, kung panggabi sila, even my sister-in-law and some friends, colleagues, panggabi sila, so they are supposed to be sleeping during the day. Yung babies nila ganun din. Graveyard shift din.
So, wala naman ang mga bata.
Oo, mahirap siya, but somehow during my time, sabi nga nila, it takes a community to bring up a person, a child. And I was blessed to have my mom, to have my mother-in-law, to look after Santino din, kasi 5 years old pa lang din siya nung time na magkasama tayo sa work. And travel ako ng travel, naalala mo, because for our client. I did my best. I'd like to believe that was the best that I could do. I wish I could have done more for my son. Santino's now 14, turning 15. Binata na. Pero pag naisip ko yung mga times na yun, minsan you look back and you think na sana I could have done more for my child. But I knew at that time, yun na yung pinakakaya kong ibigay. Ganun naman lagi mentality ng mothers eh. I would, whenever I could, send Santino to school, susunduin. I would do homework. Matutulog ako for a few hours. Pero what I can tell you right now, Sam, kung meron ako siguro na isang bagay as a working mom na alam kong I had a goal for myself, which was yung career ko, which I know is the kind of career that would reward myself professionally, help me feel that self-achievement. Kasi yung fulfillment, kailangan din yan as a person. Hindi lang dahil makapag-provide ba ako sa family ko. Hindi lang yun eh. Siyempre, personally, you look for that self-fulfillment. Pero at the same time, kung meron ako na compromise, and this is something that, I'll tell you more about, time with yung me time ko. Medyo nawawalan ako ng me time. And siguro time with friends. Time with friends. Mahirap siya, Sam, kasi siguro ngayon, looking back, I am better in touch with my best friends right now. I have childhood best friends whom I have known since I was 4 years old. Magkakasama kami niyan simula preschool, grade school, high school. May time na nagfo-focus ako because I wanted to make sure na may time ako para sa family at para sa trabaho. Aminin ko, may panahon akong nawala for like 10 years, Sam. Hindi ako nakakasama sa mga kaibigan ko. Because yung time ko sa trabaho, iniisip ko nun para pasabi mong lumabas ako and all. Isuspend ko na lang sa pamilya ko, isuspend ko na lang sa tulog. It's a tough, I'm not saying that it was the right thing to do because I just happen to have lifelong friends na naintindihan ko ano yung kailangan kong pagdaanan at gawin, but it's not easy because I risk relationships ng kaibigan. And hindi naman dahil iniisip ko na kung totoong kaibigan to mga to, hindi to mawawala, pero syempre, just like any person, kung hindi mo nurture your relationship,
yes,
anyone would feel na, ay, hindi ako unang panahon tong si Bianca, tong best friend ko to. Ba't ko pa ba kaibigan to? Pero may ganun akong risk na pinagdaanan, and I just happen to be blessed to have friends. Totoo yung sasabi nila, as you age, yung true circle mo, yung core circle mo, sila yung matitire. Hindi dahil, again, challenge ko yan, hindi ko sinasadya, pero talagang umabot ako dun sa point na kailangan kong marating yung certain point sa career ko, kailangan kong talagang mag-invest ng panahon doon. At the same time, alaga ko yung family ko. Yung me time ko, whether it's personal na ako lang, yung quiet time ko, medyo mababawasan yan. Kumbaga sa budgeting, di ba? Ano yung pagkasya mo lang, may time ako na friends sa compromise ko, aminin ko. Ganun yon. And siguro kung marami rin ako mga times na yung talagang work ba talaga or family. Alala ko, same company natin. Ito yung halos every 3 months kailangan ko mag-travel kasi, di ba, business reviews, we do it abroad in the US. May isang beses, our VP, hindi ko alam kung naalala mo siya, si initial says ICAR from our company. May time nun, parang kababalik ko pa lang from the US. 2 consecutive trips yon, birthday ni Santino. It wasn't his 7th birthday yet, 6th birthday ata yun. I was, sabi, Bianca, you have to fly out. Birthday ni Santino was July. Parang kababalik ko pa lang. Business review. Sabi ko, no, I couldn't kasi birthday ni Santino. Never kung ano yon. Sabi ko, rule namin ng husband ko yun because my husband was also frequently traveling. Actually, alternate kami. And ang rule namin sa bahay was, if I'm out of the country, dapat yung trip niya, hindi mag-overlap. Dahil hindi kami dapat mawawala pareho out on a trip. Yun ang rule namin ever since na naging active kami sa traveling for work, for business trips. So our VP then approached me asking, Bianca, you really have to be in that business review. You have to fly out Seattle, parang babalik. So sabi ko, it's Santino's birthday. Sabi niya, we can hold a party for him. Sabi ko, hindi naman. Sabi ko, hindi yung budget. Isip ko, hindi naman yung budget ang problema ko. Parang na-appreciate ko yung gesture. Pero, I need to spend time with my son. I can't be away from my son on his birthday.
Yeah.
So, anong nangyari? Nag-dial in ako. Hindi pa uso video call noon. So, sa phone lang talaga. Ang business review yun, 6 na oras. Hirap na hirap ako na sa cellphone ko. Ano ba to? Para lang maitawid ko yung business review. Pero doon ko napatunayan na at the end of the day, kahit siguro wala ko ng trabaho to, hindi ako mawawala sa birthday ng anak ko. Yes.
Tama lang. Kasi like, ako, prior to us kasi applying to the company. Dali ako sa isang kumpanya na I was working for the training pa lang, regularization ko na noon. And I understand it's critical regularization ko eh. Yeah. But the problem was, kasi mag-isa na ng mama ko dito sa house. It's a two-floor kind of house. Nadulas siya sa hagdan. And no one was here. My aunt was that time nasa abroad. My brother was in Manila with me. Mag-isa lang siya dito kasama yung pamangkin ko which was then like 7-8 years old pa lang. So she slid down the stairs. My nephew called me that was around 5 o'clock in the morning pa lang. So simula pa lang yung shift ko kasi closing kami eh. So tumawag siya sa akin. Sabi ko, ano nangyayari? Ba't na tumawag? Nadulas ang inay sa hagdan. And kailangan dalhin sa ospital. Kasi hindi siya makabangon. She's really old. So, nasa Manila ako noon, I had to call my then boyfriend and tell him na, pakidala kasi susunod ako. Kasi syempre, if you're gonna wait for me, 2 hours yung biyahe ko. Sabi ko, so, I have to, I called her. I called my boyfriend and, okay, hindi pa ako nag-shift noon, madam. 6 o'clock ang login ko. 5 o'clock, nasa sa office na ako. Di naman ako nalilate eh.
Yes, oo.
So, pagdating ko sa office, hinanap ko yung supervisor ko, yung manager ko. Kasi it's an emergency. Alam mo bang sanabihan ako ng supervisor ko? Know your priorities. Alam mo yung talagang nakasakbit na kasi prepared naman ako for work eh. Hindi naman ako absent eh. Kung hindi ko plano kung ma-absent eh. So, tinanggal ko yung headset ko. Binigay ko sa kanya. Consider this as my resignation. Do not make me choose between you and my family. I have never been asked to do that. Like, papipiliin ko ako ng hospital lang nanay ko. Papipiliin ko mag-login. Okay lang sana kung halimbawa may iba. It's not like I went absent like non-stop. Hindi naman. Yes. Alam mo, parang noon lang, panahon yun lang. So, I appreciate na you mentioned it na people are willing to drop everything for their family. And actually, you should. Kasi at the end of the day, ano ba pinagtatrabahuhan mo? Di ba para din naman siya pamilya? I always tell that to our friend Belle. Na workaholic na workaholic.
Yeah.
Like, kasi naging subordinate niya ako eh. Kasi kinuha niya ako doon sa last company ko. Si bakla, more overtime. Sabi ko, bakla mamamatay ka na katatrabaho. Sino maiiwan sa mga anak mo?
Oo, yung sa girls niya, diba?
So, you have to always, and I always as well use that on my motivations. My motivations. Okay, nagtatrabaho ka. Fine, that's good. If you're not excelling, then think of the reason why you're working. Kasi when you think of that, you will excel in your work. Kasi mai-inspire ka na, ay, o nga pala, kailangan ng anak ko ng, mag-birthday nga pala ang anak ko, kailangan mo yung spaghetti. Naku, mag-overtime.
Yes.
Naku, mag-overtime ako. Naku, bebenta ko ng marami para may bonus. You have to use those kind of things. Have you ever experienced misogyny in your work? Like toxic masculinity? Because you're a very, I'll be honest, you're a very beautiful young woman even now. Have you ever experienced parang toxic masculinity in work?
Yes, a few times. And it actually goes beyond the gender, even culture. I'm not going to parang double whammy, because toxic masculinity, and then at the same time yung cultural background pa. Me as a Filipina and that other culture. I'm not going to say what culture it is, but there's a particular, there have been experiences specific to this culture where if my immediate supervisor happened to be a man coming from this certain culture, coincidentally, and it's happened 3 times already, 3 different setups, companies na coming from this specific cultural background, ethnicity, tapos male pa, they would look down on me. Laging ganon. And it's because it's either they had this perception na because you're a mom, you could only do so much. Because you're a woman, you can only do this much. And because you're a woman, you're supposed to say yes to me.
Oh, hell no. Really?
Yes.
Experience mo pa rin yun?
Oo. Kaya siguro naging medyo particular ako na from that point on, after those incidents happened, na I would move to another company or I would move to a new department, tapos I would have nothing against male leaders, but coming from that certain cultural background or ethnicity, medyo I'm extra cautious right now because I experienced it 3 times over. And right now I'm fortunate to work in an organization where very accepting, very diverse, and I don't experience that. I've not experienced it for the past few years, so pero I did go through that. It's siguro it just so happened that I'm tough enough, pero it could get really offensive. Siguro what I found most hurtful was kasi mother ka lang, hindi na nga yung, it goes beyond yung dahil babae ka, pero kasi mom ka, ito lang kayang gawin mo, you would always have excuses ko. Parang ginamit ko na lang siya na motivation na, really, that's what you think? Sige, I'll show you that I could do much more. Because I'm a mom, hindi dahil nanay lang ako, dahil nanay ako.
Yeah, and that's one thing as well na parang nakikita ko na actually if you're going to look at it, the most driven set of people are actually mom because they have a lot to fight for. So for people to minimize your capability because you're a mom, parang pag sinasabi ko nga, like, joking aside, pero yung mga tao na nagsasabi sa akin, I understand where you're coming from, Sam. No, you don't. Lalo kung halimbawa, lalaki ka o kaya babae ka. No, you don't. You don't understand where I'm coming from. Sabi ko nga, nung one time, nag-away kami ng kapatid ko. Sabi niya sa akin, naiintindihan naman kita. Sabi ko, hanggat hindi ka hindi mo ako maiintindihan. Kasi di ba, parang you won't. So, how can someone minimize you as a person just because of your gender and as well your yung dahil sa maternal instinct mo? Below that, those are actually things that I personally celebrate. Like for example, if I am, kasi syempre I was able to choose naman people for my cluster before. If I can get a mom, alam ko, sa totoo lang, Like for example, if I get a mom, alam ko na I can get through to them easier. Kasi your mom, so yung mind mo mas broader kasi kailangan mong intindihan yung anak mo Yeah? So sabi ko, ay, mas madali itong paturuan. Pag tinuruan mo to, tapos ang tendency din yan, baby niya din yung mga batang kasama niya sa team, meron ka automatic assistant. Totoo naman, di ba? Aminin ko. Ako, gamit ko talaga yon. As a recruiter, as a person that handles a team, I will teach everything to my moms, yung mga tauhan kong ina. And then, I expect them na, I can expect na tuturuan niya din kasi nga, maternal instinct, pag nakakakita siya ng nalulunod, automatic tutulong yan. So, might as well, i-equip mo yung mom. I-prepare mo yung mom para pag tabi mo yung mga baguhan sa kanya, alam mo na tutulungan niya. Right? Now that, ano ang position mo, ma'am, ngayon sa company mo ngayon?
Yes, I'm with right now. I am the organization's senior solutioning director. So
senior na talaga. Ikaw na lang.
I'm not in operations right now, pero whenever needed, I'm able to go shift back, and I'm happy with how my journey has evolved kasi for the longest time operations so I've now since delved into shared services the support department, so I'm happy with where I am right now. Masaya.
How were you able to get from point A to point B? Kasi I know you said a while ago na parang magto-20 years mo nang ginagawa yan. So I wanna know, for the people who's listening, ano yung pinakamalaki mong naging struggle maliban of course giving birth and balancing everything dun sa from point A to point B? Ano yung pinakamalaki mong struggle na experience na parang sinabi mo sa sarili mo na parang ayoko na, parang gano'n?
Siguro, I hope this will answer the question, Sam, but I had to take a sabbatical at one point in my career. It wasn't too long ago actually. It was in 2017. I was with the biggest contact center, biggest BPO then. I wasn't exactly happy with what I was doing. I was supporting a huge account. I was getting paid nicely, pero I was not happy. It was at the same time that I lost my job, and I had to give up my job actually because Juliana, my second child, she was diagnosed to have global developmental disorder. Global developmental delay, so borderline autism. It was hard kasi it made me question. It didn't make me say na parang ayoko na, pero there was a lot of guilt around was I not sleeping enough when I was pregnant? This was because I was pregnant to Juliana right after, diba, I left yung company natin. Tapos, is it because I was in the graveyard shift? Is it because, not enough sleep? Am I working too hard? Too much stressors ba? Kaya, this happened to her. There was a lot of guilt, pero I was quick-minded then enough to say na I cannot wallow in self-pity or in questioning myself. Kailangan ko aksyonan. So therapy. I went on sabbatical. I was jobless for 8 months. 8 months yon para tutukan siya sa school, therapy sessions. Pero dun I saw it as blessing din dahil dun ko natutunan yung for the longest time kasi nga nagtatrabaho ko since 12 years old wala akong personal income, Sam.
Okay.
Wala akong income noon. Na-experience ko na ang 50 pesos globe load may unlimited ka, tatagal siya ng 3 days. Tatagal siya ng 3 days, may unlimited wifi ka. Diba? Sabi ko, wow, ang galing. Bakit pa kailangan subscribe sa plan? Doon na-impress ako sa Serena because I learned practical ways on how to make sure na my husband still had a job, pero nasa middle kami noon, nagpapagawa kami ng bahay. Tapos nag-aaral yung
perfect timing ka talaga, no?
Oo, ang galing ko nag-aaral yung mga anak ko. Syempre, the lifestyle, may adjustment sa lifestyle, pero syempre pinakamabigat ng siguro was we were building our home, our dream house. Tapos biglang, sige, Daddy, I think I have to take a break, tutukan ko si Juliana. Mukhang apart from the therapist, mukhang ako yung kailangan niya because I was sending her to therapy sessions almost every day after school. Syempre, isusustain mo yon sa activities sa bahay para ginawa natin yung homeschooling. And what was crucial to her development was conversations. So talagang kakausapin mo and everything. Tapos, it was affecting her diet and all. So mahirap, pero doon ko rin na-experience apart from yung discovery ko na 50 pesos, tatagal siya ng 3 days, may unlimited mobile data. Natuto akong siguro for others sabihin, di naman imposible yung Bianca, pero aminin natin kasi kung nasanay kang may certain income, walang Starbucks yon, 'di ba? At the time, natuto akong pagkasyahin ng 5,000 pesos in 1 week.
Okay. Malaki pa rin yun. Pero hindi, I understand.
Pero I understand kasi, 'di ba, from where you're coming from na sabihin mo, ay nako, first world problems, Bianca. But my point is, di ba, if you came from a certain routine and that feeling na you have something extra, ngayon kailangan mo pagkasyahin eh. I think I made my husband happy in terms of doon niya na-prove na hindi lang siya about all of money. Na-test din namin na if not for the house that we were building, kaya naming mabuhay na limited. So it actually helped our relationship as a husband and wife. It brought me closer to my kids. Nagkaroon ako ng self-discovery na kahit wala pala akong ganito, kahit di ako makapag-shopping, kaya ko, masaya ako nun.
Ako nga din, madam, like for example, nung panahon na nag-resign ako, so sabi ko, hindi ko alam kung if I can make it kasi alam naman, madam, Starbucks every day.
Ba, yung ganun, oo. Yes.
So ngayon sabi ko, oh my God, ngayon, like literally yung pera ko, ang extra ko lang talagang income is I'm a content writer na 700 per article lang. So, kung magsisipag ako, pwede akong maximum na 5 articles a day, a month, a week. So, pinakamalaki ko kayang sweldohin in a month. Siguro nasa kaya ko din mag-30. Kaya ko palang mag-7,000. Malaki na 7,000. Ganyan. Sabi ko, paano ko pagkakasyahin? Starbucks ko pa nga lang. Nawala ang Starbucks ko. Napalta ng coffee ko, 3-in-1 brown sugar. Nawala din yung shopping spree. Nawala yung mga nonsensical na walang nonsense na gawa.
Yes.
And then you realize, kaya ko naman pala. So, ibig sabihin, panahon ako, sumasweldo ko ng 100,000. Dapat pala mayaman na ako noon. Ang dami mong realization nung panahon na nawala yung work. Kaya naman palang walang Starbucks.
At doon ko na-appreciate ang pure gold, ha? Kasi aminin natin, I was going to Rustans kasi convenient ganyan, pero sabi ko, wow, ang saya sa pure gold. Tapos yung sa palengke, yung magbabudget ka talaga, tapos planned yung kung anong guluto mo, pero parang it's doable, kaya naman siya. Parang everything else excess siya. So pero after 8 months, ang naging go signal naman namin for me to okay, I think I can resume working was si Juliana naman kasi based on the results of her assessments from the developmental pediatrician, she was developmentally apart until such point na she was her milestones were beyond her age na.
Ay,
and
okay.
Yes.
Overachiever naman siya.
Sumobra naman. So sabi, my husband and I talked na, I think yes, it's okay for you to resume working. And then that's how I found out about my company right now. So sabi ko, I felt that everything fell into place hanggang sa nakalipat kami sa dream house namin. So pero mahirap. It was difficult lalo na sa umpisa yung experience ko of not having a job, pero I discovered a lot about myself.
And I think that's one thing that a lot of people need to think about as well. Like like for example, if I resign from work, from any work, I take at least 1 month, 2 month rest before I reapply again because I need to reset everything and find out everything. Kasi baka mamaya, kasi merong mga tao na chronic transferee na nadadala yung galit nila sa previous company nila.
That's true. Oo.
Nagiging bitter lang sila. So I take my time.
Parang rebound, di ba? Parang sa relationship.
Yes, parang relationship lang. Kailangan mo mag-rebound muna. Ako, I go home here in Batangas City. I relax for at least a month or two, hang out with a lot of my friends. And then, after that, okay, kailangan na ulit rumakit, di ba? Jump na ulit ng Maynila, mag-apply. And I'm really, how do you call that? I'm proud of it. I'm proud of me saying na anytime I want to go and get a job, I can get a job. Marami naman kasi talagang trabaho. The only thing that they need to do is to look for it. Kaya lang, yun, swerte ako sa part na yun na kaya kong mag-apply at kaya ko agad, I know for a fact na makakabalik agad ako ng trabaho. Pero yung being a mom, ano naman yung tingin ng mga anak mo nila Juliana, nila Santino tukol sa work mo? There are a lot of families that, or kids that resents their mom and dad for working too much to a point where they actually hate you working.
Mm-hmm.
So what do they think about your job?
Good question. I found it both funny and emotional. Funny kasi since si Santino, I brought him to our offices a few times. Unang-una, ang hirap explain na trabaho natin sa mga bata. Ano ba yun? Ano ba yung call center? It's hard to explain. So Juliana's asking the same questions right now. That's why she would listen to me sa video calls ko. Kasi nga, she's at that age na she's curious. Minsan magugulat na lang ako. Kasi nakikinig pa siya sa meeting ko. So magde-dinner na kami. Tiyatanong niya sa akin, so mommy, you're talking to this person. What do you call that interview? What do you mean by outside of the box? Kasi may question ako na. Parang, can you give me a time when you had to think outside of the box? Ay, kinig pala siya. Sabi ko, sige, you listen lang kasi that will help you understand what my job is. Kasi una na, mahirap explain trabaho natin. I think because I talk to my kids as if they are adults. Pero syempre, when they're babies, syempre, di ba?
Abibubu.
Yes. Pero totoo rin yun na, talk to them as if, even if they don't understand you, they don't really understand every single word or, they don't understand the concept. Talk to them about what you do, what you want to convey, what you want to communicate. Kasi at one point, they'll understand it. I've always been open. Number one, I think what helped was I've been transparent to them about mommy has to I have a meeting right now kahit ngayon kahapon lang I have a call right now Kuya Juliana 5 p.m. I cannot join you outside, hindi ako makakapag-walk with you outside ganyan, pero kuya pwedeng kayo muna ni Juliana pag may time talaga na kailangan ko nung kailangan ko mag-work, then I tell them, pero if I have extra time, then I make sure that I spend it with them. So I don't think that they resent what I do kasi rin I worked hard. I can tell you Sam that I worked hard to balance din things naman na hindi nila ma-feel na I'm not saying na it's perfectly 50-50 or 60% or 70% of my time goes to them and 30% goes to my job, na hindi siya perfect, pero they know na yung milestones, yung important events sa buhay nila, graduation, retreat, field trip, birthday, andyan si mommy, andyan kami. Yun. Kasi yun ang maalala ng mga bata di ba? At kung talaga, aminin ko, may part ako ng childhood ko na because my parents, especially my father was very busy, naging dialogue ko yung promise ng promise, hindi naman natutupad. So, naging dialogue ko yung bata ako. Kaya nung lumaki ako, I became a parent myself. Sabi ko, kung hindi ko kayang gawin, hindi ko ipapromise, hindi ko ipapangako. Kung hindi ko naman talaga kaya ibigay, hindi natin kaya mapunta, hindi natin kayang gawin. Yun lang naman Para, setting of expectations, parang sa, di ba, sa team natin. If kung hindi mo kaya, wag mong i-commit. Pero siguro, in terms of what my son in particular, thinks about my job, teenager siya, Sam. Just recently, I met with my lifelong best yung mga barkada ko, yung friends ko. We're all turning 40 this year. I actually shared the same story. Kita-kita kami nung December. Friends ko to since nung maliliit pa nga bata kami. From, when we were all together in Montessori. Si Santino, he would always have this struggle. He's turning 15. He would always have this struggle of thinking of what to give me as a gift.
Okay.
Pag birthday ko, yung mag-iisip sila, mag-usap sila ng daddy at saka nung ni Juliana. What are we going to give mommy for birthday or for Christmas? Laging wala silang maisip. And why am I telling you this? Kasi ang sagot ni Santino, I don't know what mommy really likes, what she does. Kasi So, bumalik sa akin si Santino. It happened a few times. In the last, siguro 2-3 years. Sasabihin ko, sabi niya, Mommy, what do you want for Christmas or what do you want for your birthday? And it happened itong December lang. Tsaka nung November birthday ko, sabi ko, ikaw, what do you think ba? I like. I don't know what you like eh. I don't know what you do apart from your job. So sabi niya, gumanon siya. Sabi niya, sabi ko, sige, for example, if you were to give Daddy a gift, what would you give him? Sabi niya, Daddy has a business. His business, kasi calls contact center din si husband. We've been in the industry for the same amount of time, about 19-20 years now. Sabi niya, Daddy has a shop. May detailing shop kasi kami sa cars. He likes cars, he likes to play video games, ganyan, PS4, ganyan. So, alam niya, may naiisip siya, pero sa akin wala. Sabi niya, kasi what you do is, you take care of us, you do your job, and then you take care of the house. Sabi niya, I don't want to give you naman anything na pang kitchen kasi that's for the house. Parang, that made me realize na, oh my God, I think dumating ako dun sa point na my son is growing up, Juliana is quickly growing up herself. Ito pala yung point, Sam, na pag lumalaki ni anak mo, totoo yun, ikaw na lang may iwan, kayo na lang na asawa mo may iwan. Who are you as a person? Who are you as a woman without your kids? Ano yung identity mo as a kid? Ano yung identity mo as a mother? I found that quite an awakening, and I had to talk to my lifelong friends about it kasi lahat kami mag-40. Sabi ko, and ako yung isa sa mga may medyo mas matatanda ng anak. Some of them kasi mga bata pa, toddler. So I felt like I had to impart that experience na sabi ko, I think your children needs to see you as having, a personal identity. Sino ka? As an individual, hindi ka lang mother, hindi ka lang worker, hindi ka lang provider. Kasi I found it critical kasi yung anak ko, ang tingin lang sa akin, nagpo-provide, nag-aayos ng bahay, inaalagaan sila. Na hindi niya kilala, sino talaga si Donna Bianca? Sino ko?
Donna Bianca talaga.
Yes! Parang, sino ako as a person? Kaya nga when I went out and went to see my lifelong friends, nakilala ako since nursery. I was supposed to bring Santino pero he didn't want to drive all the way to Valenzuela. Pero I wanted to bring him kasi sabi ko, I wanted you to meet my friends para makilala mo sino si mommy mo nung simula nung bits kasi they're the ones who could tell you. Kaya I strive right now at this point na I focus on my job, I love my job, I take care of the house, I take care of the kids, I take care of my husband. I strive to allot time for myself. Importante pala talaga yung me time, Sam, at yung nakikita nila na ito rin si mommy, ito yung hobby niya.
And I guess this is something that we can impart to our listeners is that, alam mo yung me time is so important to a point where it actually is about you and nothing else.
Yes. Yes, that's spot on, Sam.
Oo, kasi parang sabi ko nga, parang it's very important lalo na for women to create her own self kasi women gives a lot, like literally physically ibinibigay lahat eh.
Yes.
Diba? So for ano yung isisave mo sa sarili mo if not just for yourself, kasi you will cook for them, they will leave eventually.
Yes.
Sino na pagluluto mo? So like for example, I'm a woman, I'm gonna be a stay-at-home mom. Pag umalas na yung mga yan, di titigan mo yung bahay. Diba? Ang sad nun, madam, kasi I feel like it's a trope that a lot of our culture asks you to do. Na kailangan you're focused only on your family and stuff like that. Yun yung box na, out of the box. Yun yung box na inilalagay ang mga mom dito sa Pilipinas eh.
Oo.
Actually, marami pang mga nakakatanda na they don't want their female counterparts to be successful in life. Ito. Sorry siya ko. Paggalito na kasi ako ng mga kapatid ko dito eh. Kasi pag limbaw nag-uusap kami sa masinsinan, ang lagi nila sinasabi sa akin, hindi mo kami tauhan, hindi ka namin manager. Ikaw ba? Na-experience mo ba rin habang tinuturuan mo yung anak mo, sinabihan ka nila na parang coaching style na yata yung nasasabi ko. Tumawa ka, sabihin
Lalo, most especially now kasi they see what I do working from home. So minsan yung language ko, yung tone ko, yung words ko, maya-maya, after dinner nila, ganun din. So minsan my son would look at me, parang hindi ko lang nga kanina. Parang galit ka doon sa mainit ko lang kasi yung kanina sa meeting mo. Bakit ako naman ngayon? Yes! Lalo ngayon, it's become so visible to them. Kahit si Juliana, pick up niya parang, Mommy, what's wrong? You just came from a meeting. Tapos parang, why are you angry now at me? Oo. Hindi ka ma-deny sa kanila kasi naririnig lang nila.
Diba kasi na-experience mo ko din yun na parang sakto kasi yung kapatid ko, ako kasi pinakabunso sa amin. So, obvious na pag manager, galing ako ng meeting, tapos nakausap ko sila, manager ako, hindi mo ako tauhan, wag mo akong i-coaching. Ay, sorry. Kasi magagawa, like for example, like how you of course, like there are adult conversations, di ba? Yung mga magkakapatid kami, di ba? So parang sinasabi niya sa akin na wag mo akong i-micromanage kasi hindi mo ako tauhan. Sabi ko, ay nga pala. How do you switch that off? Like ikaw, now medyo struggle ka ngayon kasi literal na habang pagkatapos ng meeting, pagkaharap mo dito, nandun si Juliana. How do you switch it off?
I have to walk out of the house muna, ganyan, pause. Or I won't talk to them right away. Kasi it's so easy. It happens a lot, whatever energy, whatever mood that, you have coming from a meeting, whether, it was happy news or medyo frustrating or talagang it gave you a lot of stress. Ang daling i-transfer eh. So, and again, dun papasok yung talaga yung pause, yung quiet time, even for a brief moment. Lalo ngayon, it's critical kasi, they see yung init ng ulo at times, they see na yung pagod. At least kasi tayo, diba, pre-pandemic, coming from the office, when you travel home, minsan makakapag ka pa, diba, diffuse ka, it's either, mag-coffee nga muna ako, or kumain muna ako before I go home. So, para man-neutralize yung feeling mo, then you go home. Tapos medyo hindi na ganun kainit ulo mo, hindi ka na ganun siguro kapagod, kasi na-air out mo na siya. Others would probably go for a smoke, or they would have a couple of drinks before umuwi. Dito hindi walang boundary na gano'n. Tama ako, lilingon ako, nandiyan na sila. Nagalit ako. Mahirap.
Ako, like for example, ako din kasi, ang kine-consider ko namang me time nung panahon na nag-work ako is that the reason why I'm never late actually is because like for example, ang shift natin is 8 o'clock. I leave my house 5. Tatambay muna ako kung saan. So for example, when we were still in Brixton, tatambay, malapit lang ang house ko dun eh. Kasi Wanda lang ako nakatira nun eh. Actually, isang jeep lang, pwede akong bumaba dun sa kanto. Pero ang ginagawa ko talaga nun, tatambay muna ako. Aalis ako ng bahay natin ako ng 5 o'clock. Tatambay muna ako sa Shangri-La 5 to 6 to 7. Tapos tsaka ako papasok ng work. So that's the reason why I'm never late. Vice versa, dahil nga malapit lang, nilalakad, pauwi na ako. At halimbawa, nasigawan ako ni Beverly. Nung panahon na tanda mo ba nung namato si bakla ng sapatos? Di ba? Nagalit sa akin si Warren, kunwari, dahil nakakabenta, kunwari. Ayun, galit ako nun. Lalakad ako nun. I'm gonna go home walking. Para talagang ayoko kasi dalhin siya sa bahay. And, well, one thing that's good for me as a gay man, I don't have a family to vent out on. So, I think what we as a person should do, and maybe you can as well put into your lifestyle right now is, alam mo yung pagkatapos ng work, chika muna with friends. Yun kasi yung, unfortunately, for the longest time, yun na hindi mo nagawa. Maybe that's the reason why.
Pero yeah, that's what I'm able to do right now. So, dahil nga conscious yung effort ko to balance things out, I'm actually in touch with my best friends right now. There's 2 of them. So Sheila, sila Kathleen. Every day yon chat ka na sa kanila. And it's fun, it's invigorating, nakakatuwa because again, because of the realizations, triggered by my son, naging conscious yung effort ko to, rekindle yung relationship ko So keeping in touch even for, a few minutes with my best friends every day, yung chat lang, check-in. Minsan tatawanan kami, minsan mag-group call kami. O parang, tayo muna yung mag-huddle before, ano oras ba yung mga meeting niyo? Tayo muna, ano bang chismis ngayon? Yun, nakakatuwa. And I like, I kind of give myself a pat on the back for exerting effort kasi, again, may wake-up call ako for my son At saka, ando naman ako sa time na, again, I'm grateful for my job, pero andun ako sa time I'm turning 40. Ano yung para rin sa sarili ko? And that means also, spending some time with friends.
And one thing that you're lucky about is that Santino was able to verbalize that to you.
Yes, oo. Alam mo ko hindi siya walang ganong incident. Hindi ko siya malalaman, hindi ko siya ma-realize. Kaya nga I felt the need to share it with yung core circle ko kasi sabi ko tama siya Kung hindi nangyari yon, I would never have an idea.
Diba? Parang ako like for example, if that would have happened to me, I wouldn't know where to get the strength not to cry. Did you cry on that specific time na, oh my God, after nung...
Naiyak ako nun. Naiyak ako nun. Yung before ka matulog.
Yung silent Judy.
Ganyan, yan.
Judy Ann Santos.
Yes! May ganyang moments ako sa, parang, bisang kayo.
There's a lot of moms out there that, alam mo yung parang, I have a lot of, sabi ko kasi, di ba, usually ang mga nagiging tauhan to, mga ina, na lagi ang drama nila, ang iyak nila is about their kids. Like, sabi ko nga, parang, the mere fact that your kid is thriving right now, regardless kahit gaano kalaki ang sahod mo, regardless kahit na anong, ano yung kung gaano kalaki ang pera mo ngayon. If your daughter, your son is thriving as a person, you saw him or her doing something good, then you're doing it right. Wala naman, nasan ba ang gano'n? Nasan ba ang manual sa pagiging ina? Wala naman.
Totoo.
Oo. So the mere fact that your family, your son, your daughter are thriving, wag mong i-minimize yung effort mo kasi ang laki nun. Sabi ko nga, siyang na buwan mong binuhat yan sa tiyan mo. Kulang pa ba? Parang labis na nga actually, if you're going to look at it. Hindi naman, although yes, they didn't choose to be born, pero the mere fact that you are trying your best is always going, you always have to say, okay, I did my best. And if that didn't work, then unfortunately, hindi naman ako, yung ang mom ko nung panahon na nag-out ako. Well, technically I didn't have. But when we were talking about my sexuality, at first I was like really mad at her. I was really mad at my mom. And the realization came from within myself. Kasi nagkaroon na nga ako ng mga tauhan na, kasi for the longest time, I was mad at my mom, like, until my adult life. Kasi may mga favorites sila Alam mo yung gano'n. Sabi ko, bakit hindi ako paborito? And then I realized something, and it's a self-realization na, teka, siguro nakita ng nanay ko na magpalaki yung tatay niya at nanay niya ng lalaki.
Ay,
sino pang nagturo sa nanay ko na magpalaki ng bakla? Wala naman. Kahit nga sa mga booklets dyan sa school, wala naman, hindi ba? So,
yeah, you have a point. Oo.
Sabi ko, sabi ko, kahit pala anong hingi ko sa kanya, wala pala siyang maibibigay kasi hindi naman niya alam kung paano ibigay. Kahit pala ibigay ko sa kanya ng 100, I cannot pala expect from her 100% because hindi naman niya alam kung paano ibigay. So what I need to do is to add another 50 in me so I can match whatever we have. Kasi hindi naman, kasi again, like what I said kanina, wala namang magulang na natutong magpalaki ng Becky at lesbian. So I always tell that to a lot of my lesbian and gay friends to say, you can't get mad at your mom because wala na. Sabi ko na, maghanap ka ng libro at sige ipapakopya, ipapaserox ko, ipamibigay ko kanino kasi wala naman talaga. There's no rule for that.
Yeah, that's a great insight, Sam. I never really saw it that way too. Oo nga, no? I think that's a really great takeaway kasi Tama ka, kahit anong klaseng galit meron kay parang useless eh. Wala tayong magagawa eh. Yun yung reality eh.
Last questions, kasi I know may nakita na akong anino sa talikod, batang lalaki sa likod na iniikot-ikot na, nararamdaman ko na siya.
Yan ang Santino. Ano to? Playtime nila nung aming English Bulldog, si Rocco. Saka time niya magdilig kasi ngayon.
Last question. And maybe this would be more of tips and tricks for a lot of our moms out there who think na, ay, hindi ko kayang balansehin ang work ko at ang aking family. What do you think or what can you say to them?
Number one, you will never ever find the right formula on how to balance things out in your life. Whether you have a multitude of priorities, whether you have to, provide for your family through your work, you have kids to take care of, you have a husband to nurture a relationship with, you have parents who are getting older that you have to look after, you have friends that you have to maintain relationships with. There will never ever be a perfect formula. Don't get angry at yourself if you find yourself compromising or sacrificing any of the different pies in your life, whether again it's your parents, your children, your partner, your husband, your spouse, your work, and even time for yourself. At some point you will find yourself trying to do a balancing act, but that's how it is. Just like what you said earlier, Sam, there's no manual, there's no playbook on how to do these things. I think what's important is that at the end of the day, you're able to do something for each of these aspects of your life. And there's no point of regretting eh. That's something that I learned kasi whatever effort you exert at that moment, you know for yourself that's the best that you can offer. So, as days go by, as months go by, as years go by, and you have the tendency to, look back and then you say, I should have done better, I should have done this. There's no point of doing that. There's no point of regretting, because whatever decision you made at the very moment you needed to come up with a decision, the very moment that you felt like, okay, this is the best that I can do, diba? I'm pushed against the wall, this is the best that I can offer. Thank yourself. Be kind to yourself. Kasi, as long as you're the type of person who knows that you'll always, make sure that you give whatever important aspect of people in your life, whatever these are or who they are. As long as you know that you always give 100%, that's enough. That's enough. And I think at the end of the day, you'll come to a point na you'll get older. Your kids are going to grow older. Things are going to become a lot more stable in your job. Don't forget yourself. It's good to reward yourself. But if you know that you have a much longer, goal or dream, try to make sure na, sige, I'll do as much as I can right now. Pero, wag mo kalimutan yung long-term goal mo. Kasi we tend to also reward ourselves na, ay, sige, I did a great job in my work today. I'm going to splurge. I'm going to spend this much kasi I deserve it. Minsan, yung instant gratification, that's what keeps us away from achieving our long-term goal.
One thing that you said a while ago, which I actually want to touch base as well on, is yung mag-alat ka on all aspect of your personality. You're a mom, lagay ka ng piso dyan. Wala ka may piso lang kaya may bigay. You're a manager, lagay ka din ng piso dyan. You're a wife, lagay ka ng piso dyan. Eventually, kasi kahit piso-piso lang yan,
yes,
magiging mayaman ka if you're going to look at it. Like, you invest on things, on the smallest things, pero kailangan consistent. Wag mong balansin. Kasi at the end of the day, meron kang mahuhugot sa lahat. And actually, di ba yung isa yung sa mga coachings natin na parang mag-deposit ka sa tauhan mo.
Yes.
Pero may mawi-withdraw ka. And it's the same principle. Mag-deposit ako sa lahat ng mga aspect of your personality. May it be beautification, I don't care. Even if that's as trivial as that, go ahead. If that fulfills you on that specific time and that's your piece for the day, by all means do it. Kasi why not? You deserve everything that you want to get. Ayan, yay! Thank you so much, Madam. Ikaw na naglaglag kanina, Madam Donna Bianca. Hindi ka pa, alam mo naman, hindi kita tinatawag na Donna talaga pag nagbabarahan lang talaga tayo. But thank you so much for joining the podcast tonight.
This has been a great experience, Sam. You enlightened something in me in terms of, connecting so much more with, past colleagues, with friends, with all those that we worked with in the past. And thank you for this opportunity to share a bit of my story. And, I learned a lot from you too today. Salamat.
Thank you. And don't worry, I will contact you again. Kasi isa sa pinakamalaki na spike ng listeners ko was about my experience in the BPO industry. I was with Bev, I was with Warren. So, halhalan lang kami. So, hopefully, I'm working on something that has to do with that again. So, hopefully, you'll be open to guest another time.
Yes, anytime, Sam. I'm proud of you. I'm really proud of what you're doing right now. Magaling.
Thank you so much, Madam Bianca, ang aming inang Reyna. Don't forget to follow us at Spotify and Apple Podcast. And please be sure to rate us so we can continue to grow. A Cup of Coffee Podcast is available in Instagram at acupofcoffee_PH and on TikTok at acupofcoffee_Sam. A Cup of Coffee Podcast is created by Mama Sam Media.